Hello and welcome. This is Daniel Kennedy from Steadfast Construction and Design. This is the end of week 7 and we've just been plastering this week. So I'm inside the property because it's raining outside and I can't be asked to get wet. So I'm going to show you around what we've been doing. So let's jump to the front of the property and I can just show you walls, ceilings and more walls of plaster. So we had a bit of a tidy Friday session because it was getting messy. So we've got the skip there. And then this is the area that we as KML are going to be heavily investing in as we want to turn it around. So let's go into the property now. So I told you there'd be lots of plaster. So the guys have been really sort of hitting it hard with the plastering because we're having to adhere to a contract. So typically during my builds we can be a bit more flexible, but because now we've got clients for this one we have to adhere to a contract. So that's taken a bit of work, because usually they have quite a lot of freedom and the guys having to adjust to the rigidity of a contract has taken a bit of work, but we're there. The client has added kitchenettes now into each room, so we factored that in. We got these infrared heaters because we're really struggling with the plaster to get it dry, more so that we're jumping ahead for other weeks because it's just not drying. Like next week we're meant to be doing the mist coat and it's not going to happen because all the plaster isn't dry. So we're going to have to just basically leave portions of the room as they dry, which is a shame, but it is what it is. So now we're going into the kitchen. So we've done all the plastering now, so we've beaten that stage, so very well done to the team. It's going to be our kitchen. I don't know what that is, that's hideous. What is that? Hopefully hidden away by cupboards. So the kitchen's going to be along here, and then we've got the plant room there. Always have a plant room. Now we're going to be stepping into the rear units. So we've got a little bit of a corridor as a sound break, and this is kind of like storage. So fortunately this is dry because it's one of the first rooms the guys did. I must remember to go a bit slower. I'm not going to go down into the basement because that room is basically redundant. Right, let's go upstairs. So literally all you're going to be seeing is plaster. Oh, and as I say, we jumped ahead, so here's the architrave. Oh, and there's one of the kitchenettes. So they'll have a nice little fridge there. So it would have been nice to paint prior, but we would get behind, so we're a bit concerned. What we had to do a bit differently here, because it's wet plastic, you don't want to just put the wood towards it. So we SBR'd the rear of the units, because otherwise they would absorb the wood and it would blow. But yeah, nice colour, man. I like it. I'm going to turn that heater on in a moment. So that's all the bathrooms done as well. And then this is where the aqua boards are going to go. So again, skirting and architrave. Here's a bit of a HMO tip. We have learned that getting this square edge ball nose skirting means you don't have to scribe as much because it's all square. It just means it can go down a hell of a lot quicker, thus saving you time, you know, the more complicated scribes. So yeah, just go for that because like tenants are not really going to notice. You can paint it, whatever, do as you see fit. What the deuce? Right, let's put that out before I leave. There's another kitchenette. Blasted this as well, put all the skirting and architrave on. Looking fan-dabby-dozy. Oh man, we've done quite a lot this week. So yeah, so the skirting, the architrave, the kitchenettes are all meant to be done, not next week but the week after, but we're pulling it forward because we've got a bit of spare time, slightly ahead. And then once the plaster's dry, we'll do the mist coat and then make good. We'll just have to be really, really careful not to get paint on. Like this, oh God, this is just so pleasing. The fact that they've got carbon on there. You wouldn't believe how difficult it is to get them to do this. And I'm pretty sure it's Louis. Because they're just so focused on the job, the guys. They forget that the stuff's in and it sometimes can get damaged. But we've had that problem, rectified it, and now it won't be a problem. So now we're going into the top unit. Oh. And here so this was plastered quite a while ago, and look at these joints, they're still not dry. So that's all the en-suites plastered. Ah, and we've got shower trays in as well. Brilliant. And then we were going to have like a little cubby hole here, but the client didn't want it. He wanted it straight. And then we've got the kitchenette. Can't really see it because the door's on. And then the door's going to be painted white. Let's have a look at the hinges. Ah, oh, lovely. By God, that is how they should be. And then we've got this very, very, very healthy looking lantern there, which we're going to get changed. We were going to put a velvet in, but apparently it would involve quite a bit more work to take the tiles out, so we can just replace that glass, make it clear, and then it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Right. That's such a big room, man. Lucky sods are going to have this. You know what? I really love these bars in the window. I just think they look stunning. I wanted it on our King's Eve deal, but the builder was a knob and then misinterpreted what I wanted. Anyway, let me just turn this. So, to answer your questions, yes, I'm growing a moustache. It's going to be back. I've missed it. I saw a picture and I was like, damn, I look good with a moustache, so therefore I shall grow it. So now we're at the end of week 7. It's been interesting because we're having to adhere to a contract, and that's come with its own challenges, and we're actually a little bit ahead in terms of the contract, and the client wanted extras. Like initially kitchenettes weren't involved, but then he decided we wanted kitchenettes, so we had to quickly do more electrical works, and that delayed us from plastering certain walls. But we've caught up and we're a bit ahead. Little worried about the winter months with the plaster. That's why we've got the heaters, but we can only really direct them at 2 walls at any one time, so we've got that to sort of contend with, but I'm sure we'll be able to do other stuff and then go back and paint. So typically, the normal process would be skirt and architrave, plaster, skirt and architrave, then do the mist coat, then do the sand and fill in of all the walls, but you can't paint wet plaster. So we're going to wait for this all to dry and then do the mist coat, and while we're getting involved in that, we're going to put the shower trays down, the aqua boards, the skirt and architrave, put the doors on, do the second fixture carpentry, which actually pretty good, because then we can get all the dusty work done before we do the paint, because there's always been a bit of a sort of to and fro with me wanting to get all the woodwork done and then the painting, but it can delay the job. So it's like fate is on my side here, because now we have to do the woodwork without painting, and I'm sure we'll catch up. And then after the painting, it's just painting and carpeting. So that's basically making good the plaster, doing the bathrooms. So it's coming along. I'm really, really pleased with how this one is. As well, we'll be jumping on to the next one as well, just over the road. So it's a sort of win-win. We've really sort of glued as a team and, what's the word, sort of found our sort of pace with this one. We learnt a lot off Moseley, a lot off York Road. There was a bit of sort of redoing of work that had already been done, but now that we're doing it in this way, we're not doing 2 jobs at once, we're doing it really quickly, and we're doing it in the right order, and the finish is going to be stupendous. This is going to be such a huge room. They're going to be really lucky. And we've got a similar room other side of Moseley, and he gets $660 a month. So if he can get that, that'll be fantastic. With the fridges and that, I'm sure he will. But yeah, this will be the first time HMO landlord he bought it cash. I'm sure he'll disclose the numbers after, and this will make him a nice return. He kept it small. He's going to just rent it out as a 6-bed and then get planning in future once it's got lawful use. He may not get planning, but that's the risk he wanted to take. And yeah, so if you have any questions, we're looking as well to book up. We've got a 13 and a 14 bed to do. and after that we're available for hire. So maybe in the middle of next year, but there's no set date of when you would be able to hire us, because we don't leave a job until the client's happy. And unfortunately, they've got the most picky, pedantic, petty client ever next. Me. They're doing my 2 jobs next. And yeah, there's no one more picky than me, really, because a little bit of knowledge can be a dangerous thing, as someone said to me. And very often they have to put up with me going, I want this, I want that, I want this change. And they're like, ah. But hey, that's what we get paid for, poor sods. And we'll be doing it at the same sort of standard as your road, and because the system works. And with the 13 bed, we'll be putting kitchenettes in them as well, because they've already got them, ripping out the old, putting in the new. So if you want to come and see this, and come and see the sites, because we've got the keys to the 13 bed now, and we've got the keys to the 14 bed, and we've got the keys to this. This is what we're going to be looking at over the weekend, and to give you basically a nice base of a development tour, and to what to look for. And you know the tips of the skirting, there's going to be plenty of tips, and there'll be questions toing and froing on the day. It's a very flexible day. There's no rigid structure. We'll be spending a bit of time at this project, spending a bit of time at that project. Then there'll be a little bit of a presentation after, of me talking about how to raise finance, sourcing, and all that stuff. So if you're interested, I think we've got 15 people coming. So we've got 5 tickets left. So I don't know how many. There's no rush. They never sell out. I'm not going to say, oh, they're going to sell out. They never do. 65 quid now, because you missed the early bird special. We've got some nice, good key players that are hopefully going to critique me, so we can get that a little bit better. Right, thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this tour. I'm really seeing it along. Like, Louis is going to be doing the tours from now on, because I'll be heading away to go raise finance in Asia for our development that I want to do. So he will keep you informed, and I hope you follow the channel, and when you come back, you'll be able to see the final product, and we'll do another development tour, and you can come and see the final finished, like all bells and whistles, what we picked, the different like electrics, why we picked them, etc., why we've done pendants here, why we've done spotlights there, etc. So thank you for your time, and enjoy your weekend, guys.